Right, so I will be representing the first negative side of this argument and arguing that no fault divorce is beneficial and we should keep it. So Heather's first point was economic equality, how women aren't as economically prepared financially or socially as men due to the divorces. But and many think that this is the case. But research suggests that it is more often the wife who instigates the divorce, according to Betsy Stevenson and Justin Wolfers of the Bargaining, who did a lot of research in no fault divorces. And the reason women worked more is because during the 70s, the 50s through the 70s, it was mainly the men who were the caretakers, it was the men who brought in the money and the women who were the homemakers. But due to the rise in feminism and women's jobs after World War II, women were able to get more jobs. And I have a quote for you from Betsy Stevenson and Justin Wolfers. The reason women work more is because no fault divorce favors the person with the best options outside of the marriage. A paying job is one thing that affects your options outside of marriage. Equally, there are other important considerations such as how happy you will be in your subsequent life and your chances of remarriage. So it's not only money that is the situation in divorce, it's how happy you will be. Otherwise, the divorce may fall through and they'll remain married. And women are able, because of no fault divorce, to leave their dissatisfactory husbands. So this alone should be able to allow no fault divorce to stay in place. Because if women are part of bad marriage, such as abusive relationships, then the women should be allowed to leave. It's not only economic equality, it is one's well-being in general. Heather's other point is about the children, and a huge part of the no fault divorce debate is about the children. And I have a couple of quotes to bring to you. One is from Catherine Beck and Sabine Walfer, who published the effects on child and adolescent development. And they said that recent family transitions, rather than being in a stable single-parent or step-parent family, appear to be especially problematic for adolescents. So what that means is that how recent the divorce was affects children more negatively than the divorce in and of itself. And I have another quote from an actual 15-year-old girl about the effects of divorce. And she said, "Look, don't be horrible. Don't be mean to each other. Just do what you have to do in a civil way so that our children don't get more upset than they already are." The no-fault divorce debate focuses a lot on children in that, but it actually shouldn't be the case because your parenting abilities do not affect your marriage and vice versa. You can have a deep-seated hatred of your spouse and still get a divorce, but as long as you keep your child notified of what's going on, as long as you make them feel secure and safe in that they will be fine, they won't be negatively affected as bad as what Heather made it seem to be. Okay. And what Heather also said about the vows being undermined, it's true. The sanctity of marriage is different in modern United States than it did a couple of hundred years ago, or barely even 50 years ago. And that is a sign of the times. It is not during the previous years, marriage was seen as pragmatic, as a means to an end. You sold your daughter so you'd get a couple of cows or something. But it's a romantic notion to think that marriage is all about love. And it's so the vows are not actually undermined, and because more and more people nowadays are spending time with their spouse, living together before getting married. They spend time getting to know each other, wondering how their life situations will work before they actually get married. During the 50s and before, it would be, let's get married and let's see what happens. And that's simply not the smart choice nowadays. So to conclude this part of my presentation, I believe that no fault divorce should stay in place because the benefits far outweigh the negatives.